Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yui, and today in this video we're gonna talk about the employment and task for international students with a very special guest. Please welcome to Ray Well. Hello Ray, how you do today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you for being a guest in my video. It's very my honor to have you in here to help me to discuss about the topic that we have today.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay, so first of all, please tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was raised in Eastern Oregon in a small town about the same size as Ellensburg, called Pendleton.
Mhm.
I did my undergraduate degree in Portland,
Okay.
at Reed College. While I was there, I did a semester abroad at the University of East Anglia. I went on to do a master's degree and plus some research toward a PhD that I never achieved at the University of Edinburgh, studying Scottish history. I was in Edinburgh for 5 years.
Okay.
And when I came back to the States, I came to stay with family in Ellensburg, and came to love the community, and became part of another family. After meeting the woman who's now my wife, who's actually a UK citizen, who was born, and a lot of her family are still in the East Anglia region, which is where I had done my semester abroad as an undergraduate. I started at Central at Career Services and was there for 5 years. And I've been in international studies and programs, which is kind of a logical place for me to be, with my overseas experience. And I've been here for for almost 10 years now.
Wow, that's a long time. Thank you for sharing. So first, let's start with the employment topic. So my first question is, what kind of paperwork does international student have to do before they apply for a job?
So before you apply for a job, the first thing that I recommend is double checking, make sure that you're in status. You should be, but check that date on your I-20. Check your passport to make sure it hasn't expired. Make sure that you're registered for 12 credits. If you're an undergraduate, or at least 10 if you're a graduate student. And if not, make sure that you have make sure that you have reduced course load approval. So first thing, make sure that you're legal first.
Okay, yes, right. So
then, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, we have to like make sure that at international student we have to like give our trail credit, right? Trail credit, and above we cannot like do like below that one because we have to be a full-time student.
Yes, yeah. There are some exceptions, of course, for the ones that I know of are, if you're in your final quarter, you can have a reduced course load. In your first quarter, you can have reduced course load for initial academic difficulty, or you can have reduced course load for medical reasons. Those are the ones I know about. Your international student advisor and the SEVIS coordinator might know of more, but it's always best just to make sure, if at all possible, make sure that you're registered for full-time course load.
I see, I see. Yeah, it's very important that we have to be like a
Yeah,
full-time student and
yes.
international student. Yes. Okay, so thank you. So my second question is like, so do international students have to like prepare the paper? What do students have to like prepare before doing the working paperwork? Like oh yeah, you already talked about it, right? So make
Yeah,
sure like your visa.
yeah. So the So the first thing is make sure that you're in status. Second is if you're you need to find a job to apply for.
Oh yeah, yes.
And um, and and all jobs at Central go through MyCW.
Mm-hmm.
And on your MyCW homepage, there will be a link yeah, that you can take where to look for jobs on campus.
Yes.
Now, some places will be recruiting continually, like dining services and catering are big ones to be recruiting.
Yeah.
They're recruiting all the time. They'll have a pool of applications for each quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But those places, you can also be very effective just walking in and talking with someone and let them know that you're interested in working there. And they will sometimes offer you a job on the spot. That's an informal offer. You still have to go through the process.
Uh-huh.
But all job applications for student positions say that they require a resume.
Oh yes.
A cover letter and your schedule.
I see. Yes.
And if they're going to offer you a job informally, then they might also tell you whether you need to have a full resume, or if they just need you to submit something there.
I see. Right.
And then but if the position is one that needs an actual resume and cover letter, if you want help with that, my old friends at Career Services are great people to work with it on that. They can give you a lot of help with cover letters and resumes and a lot of other job search tools, both for on-campus jobs and beyond graduation. They don't really know the international job market that well, but if you're doing OPT, they're great resources for that, and internships for CPT as well.
Yeah.
But then once you've been offered the job, if you've never worked in the U.S. before, you're going to need a letter from your supervisor that says that you've been offered a job on campus, because you're going to need to apply for a Social Security number.
Yes.
And international students you're eligible for Social Security number, but only if you have been offered a job on campus.
I see.
And some places will generate that letter for you right away, because they work with international students a lot. Other places they don't, and they don't know about it. So whether they give you the letter or not, come and see me. Either schedule a Zoom or come into Hebler 102 if you're on the Ellensburg campus, and I'll ask you some questions about it, and I can email your supervisor the template for the letter that you'll need, so that they can get that they can get that done, and then we can do the letter from from either your advisor or the CBIS coordinator, your international advisor or CBIS coordinator, which you will also need to take with you to the Social Security office.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Thank you so much. Right, that a very good information that I can have. All right. So now we are moving to the second part with the task. Are you ready for this one?
Sure.
Okay. So my first question is, what is task?
So one description that I've seen for taxes that I really like is it is the subscription fee for the country that you live in.
Okay.
And I've and in that there was, when I saw that there was a reply to that comment saying like your first 18 years is your free trial, which isn't exactly true, but because you can earn enough that you have to pay taxes before you turn 18, but
okay.
but basically taxes are the way that governments operate in most cases. There are some exceptions, like my understanding is Saudi Arabia doesn't have any taxes because their government is funded by oil revenue. But by and large, taxes are the way that that governments function.
I see.
Now, in the U.S., there's a tax on incomes, and there are also tariffs on goods being imported into the country. But the ones that would hit you personally would be income taxes. At state level in Washington, there's no income tax. We have property taxes, which you're not likely to pay directly as a student. But you are, if you're renting, you are paying your landlords.
I see.
Property taxes for them, or they're not going to continue being landlords very long. And then the other one that you'll notice is the sales tax.
Yes.
Which is why if you take something up to the counter that's $8, you're unless it's excluded from taxes like food, most foods are. You're going to be paying more than $8 on an $8 product, because state and local governments both have sales taxes on that. So yeah, that's what taxes are.
Thank you so much. Right. So with that, moving on to my second question: how can an international fill out their tax form? Like, can they fill out with the outside organization like TurboTax, S&R Block, and so on?
So the answer to that is it depends.
Okay.
Taxes for international students can be a very complicated situation.
Oh, okay.
So typically, an international student will be considered non-resident for tax purposes.
I see.
And if you're non-resident for tax purposes, whether you have U.S. income or not in any tax year, so it's 2022, the tax season has started up for 2021's taxes, so you would be looking at last year. If you arrived, so if you arrived in the U.S. before 2016, you were probably resident for tax purposes in 2021. But if you arrived after, then you're non-resident for tax purposes. And if you're non-resident for tax purposes, you have to submit by the middle of June a Form 8843.
Oh,
So and that's all non-residents. Is separate from your tax return.
I see.
And it basically says, I was in the U.S. For this period of time, but I'm not resident, so you need to treat me as like I'm non-resident, and this is why. And then, but if you had U.S. income in 2021, then you will also need to submit a tax return.
Oh,
and that's whether you're resident or non-resident. And if you're non-resident, you do not want to use a TurboTax or an H&R Block because it will not generate your Form 8843 for you.
oh, I for the okay.
If you worked on campus in 2021, you should be able to use the system that Central subscribes to, Glacier Tax Prep, and that's free. If you did not work on campus during 2021, then but you had U.S. income somewhere else, you can there's online software called SprintTax. There is a fee for that, but it's the only system that I know of, other than Glacier Tax Prep, that takes into account non-resident situations, and non-resident situations are very important.
I see.
Now, if you were resident for tax purposes, and if you had no income in 2021, you don't have to submit anything. You're one of the very few who doesn't have to submit anything.
Okay, I see.
But if you were resident for tax purposes in 2021 and you had U.S. income, then the question is there a tax treaty between the U.S. and your home country? Because if there's tax treaties are agreements between two countries that they might exempt citizens of each country from certain taxes. And if there's a tax treaty, between the U.S. and your home country, and you're resident for tax purposes, you want to see a tax professional, because I don't know of any software out there that addresses resident tax situations with tax treaties.
I see.
So, you, in that case, you don't want to go to H&R Block online. You might go to an H&R Block tax professional. You might find a tax attorney, an accountant, and when you do, if you do, when you contact them, ask them, are you familiar with tax treaties as they apply to international students who are resident for tax purposes?
Okay.
Just because you want to make sure. If there's not a tax treaty between the U.S. and your home country and you're a resident for tax purposes, then go ahead, go to the IRS website and look for a free file option and use that free file software. You won't have to pay for that, but the flip side is you don't get the benefit of the tax treaty. So you're saving in one place, and giving up somewhere else. But but at least you get to file for free. So it's a really complicated situation, and I'll send you I've done a flow sheet. I'll send that to you so that you can put it in the description.
Okay. Yes.
So people can go to that flow sheet to figure out exactly what they need to fill out.
I see.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah.
So with that, moving on with like my third question, like what is the thing that international student must be careful while filling the task form?
Well, you want to be as accurate as you can be.
I see.
And it is a legal document, and there can be penalties, which would usually be if you accidentally underreport your income, then there might be a small financial penalty, plus you would have to make up the difference. But as long as it's an honest mistake, it's probably not going to be too serious. The other thing to be aware of are deadlines.
Yes.
The tax deadline for your 2021 taxes is going to be, I think it's the 18th of April.
Well, okay.
And so make sure that you get your tax return in the mail by the 18th of April.
I see.
And postmarks are accepted. However, the sooner you get it in, if you're getting a refund, the sooner you get that refund. So,
Yeah.
And try to be as accurate as you can be. If you had more than one employer, make sure that you have all of your Form W-2s before you start.
Oh, I see.
And if you worked on campus and you're non-resident for tax purposes, I'm more than happy to help you go through Glacier Tax Prep.
I see.
If you're if you're non-resident for tax purposes and you didn't have U.S. income and so you're just doing the Form 8843, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to to help answer those questions. But the sooner you get started on that, the better. Because I tend to get busier with those sorts of questions as the deadlines approach.
Okay.
So,
right. Yes.
So I'm quite happy to help as much as I can. But if I'm booked solid on April 17th, if you're trying to schedule a Glacier Tax Prep appointment for then, I may not have a chance to see you for an additional one. So do plan ahead and get it done as far in advance as you can.
Yeah. So we have to do it like as soon as we can, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend that you do it as soon as you can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not and neither Glacier Tax Prep nor doing a Form 8843 is particularly difficult. And one thing that we should always keep in mind is that nobody in the international office is a tax professional. But with Glacier Tax Prep, I can guide you. I know the system, so I can guide you through the system. With Form 8843, they're pretty straightforward. Yes, and there's some information that you need to get from from the university, which I do have on that. I do include that information on the flow sheet. So So you can, so you can find that information there too. Or you can ask.
I see. Thank you so much, Ray. I think that all of the question I have. Thank you so much for like being here today and spending time explaining about the employment and task for me.
Absolutely. I like being able to reach out to students with this information. I like